Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Yesshift News Desk edition, catching up on some of the latest news that's happened amidst the other things we've been talking about. So one of the topics of this is the Yes tour with Deep Purple being underway. There have been some interesting posts that have come out amidst the first few shows of that, and I'm gonna save that for the end of this episode because I'll be touching upon the set list spoilers, and if you haven't seen the show, like don't worry, they'll be at the very end, so you can dip out if you don't want any of those set list spoilers in mind if you're going to a Yes show in the near future. There's also been some other stuff going on. Recently, there was a couple live streams that I watched over the weekend. There's a Total Mass Retain live stream from the Royal Room in Seattle where they had their Alan White tribute concert. And there's also the Mandoki Soulmates concert that was streamed live from Budapest, celebrating their latest album, A Memory of Our Future, which I've talked about a few months ago, and Dad interviewed Leslie Mandoki over on Drum Talk TV. It's an incredible album. And also some Yes alumni activities, a couple re-releases as well that happened this week. So yeah, quite a bit to get through. I've got my notes open, and I realized I didn't put on the opening music, but that's okay. I think you all know which show this is. This is Yesshift. I'm Steven Schinder, and yeah. So before I get through these other topics, let me just check the volume real quick. Yeah, it looks good. And I also want to remind people that this Saturday, August 24th, is when Close to the Yes, the USA Yes tribute band based in Texas, they're having their show with the Rush tribute band Clockwork Angels being there as well. So this will be, let's see, I'm just getting the event up real quick. If you go to the Close to the Yes USA Facebook page, you can find the Facebook event. We interviewed John Perez, the drummer, about this about a month ago, I think, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this is going to be at the Maverick, which is in Carrollton, Texas. So if you're in the area, go ahead and check that out. Really cool to see people playing Yes music in all these different places. Tickets are $5 at the door, not available online. So yeah, go ahead and check out that. It says here that Clockwork Angels play from 8:30 to 10 p.m. and Close to the Yes will take the stage at 10:30 and play until midnight. So that, of course, being local time over there, and it's here in the event description. So yeah, go check that out if you're anywhere near that area. Let's see. Oh, Julie Good News says, have you heard True yet, Steve? No, I have not. I know that you're in Australia, so maybe you've been able to check out the whole thing, perhaps. I'm trying to figure out what the rollout is with the what's it gonna be like with the official streaming services like YouTube and stuff. So I'm hoping that that'll be up on Friday or maybe around midnight tonight even. But yeah, that kind of segues nicely into the next thing I was gonna touch on. So with True coming out, and Dad and I have pre-ordered our copies of the album, and we're gonna try to listen to it as soon as we can. If it drops on official streaming places release day, then we'll probably listen then. And it says that the CD that I ordered ships out on Saturday, so I'm not sure how soon it'll arrive for me, how soon Dad's will arrive, but we're working out when we'll do our review of that album. And so our review of it might be a couple days after release or a few days. We're working that out, but rest assured we will be reviewing that album, and very excited about it. And also thank you to everyone who commented on our uh, episode last week, reviewing the Phoenix show done by John Anderson and the Band Geeks. We mentioned there that we had heard that the stage doesn't spin anymore, but we've been corrected by a couple people. Apparently, the stage does spin, but it's up to the artists whether or not they want it to spin. Alan Parsons performed a couple days after John and the Band Geeks, and I've been told that it was spinning for them. Yeah, that must have been an interesting show, Alan Parsons, but, couldn't make it to that because, scheduling is a thing, and you really got to pick and choose your battles when it comes to going to concerts, especially if they're like so close back to back like that. It's kind of tough when there's all these other things going on. But yeah, I'm glad that Alan Parsons is doing his thing. We were kind of worried a while back when the whole thing happened and it caused his tour in the Tour of Asia to be canceled, but I'm glad that it seems to be fine. Now, while we're on the John and the Band Geeks thread, I did see a nice post about how multi-instrumentalist Rachel Flowers was able to see them. Rachel posted on Facebook, Friday night, I got to hear John Anderson and the Band Geeks in Thousand Oaks. Highlights for me include the entire, plug your ears for like 10 seconds if you don't want to hear like what two of these songs in the set are, I guess. Highlights for me include the entire Close to the Edge suite, where I almost cried at the end. I was amazed. It was amazing getting to hear the band channel not only the multi-layered instrument, but also the incredible vocal harmonies and the counterpoint during the So I Get Up, I Get Down section. That it's been more than 10 seconds, so keep your ears plugged like for 10 more seconds so I can read this next sentence. Also, John added some variation on the lead vocal, which was pretty cool. During And You and I, the audience clapped along. Okay, so that's all the setlist details for John and the Band Geeks for now. So continuing Rachel's post. However, my favorite moment was getting to meet John after the show. We had a nice conversation about music and his love for the Sibelius symphonies. His favorites are the 2nd and 7th. He told me if I have time, I should listen to the 7th symphony. He sang in my ear, and it was just so beautiful. Then he gave me a hug. It was also fun getting to chat with Chris Clark, who I've been friends with for quite a while. I heard him play in Brand X, so it was pretty wild getting to hear him play the Rick Wakeman moments, along with the keyboard player Robert Kipp in John's band. I want to thank the rest of the band as well, Richie Castellano, bass, Andy Graziano, guitar, and Andy Ascoli's drums. Thank you all for letting me hang out with you after the show. It was great geeking out with you. Overall, it was a really fun experience. So yeah, that's really cool. And I've also seen pictures of John Anderson with Carl Palmer, when they shared a couple of shows together, maybe a few shows, and that's been really cool. Carl also put out a video talking about the 50th anniversary of the ELP album, Welcome Back, My Friends, The Show That Never Ends, ladies and gentlemen, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. He talked about that for about a minute. I think August 19th was the 50th anniversary. And Dad and I love that live album. It encapsulates the band so well. In Tarkus, they added Epitaph, and I think for a while Dad thought that Epitaph was an ELP original until he realized, it's a King Crimson song. But yeah, he could correct me on that if I'm misremembering. But yeah, and Carnival 9, goes for more than half an hour, maybe slightly more than half an hour, and it's epic. It's great live album. One of the 70s prog staples as far as live stuff is concerned. So happy 50th anniversary to that. And also on August 7th was the 50th anniversary of Patrick Moraz's Yes audition. He said, I was welcomed by the band into a setting that was a bit surreal and musically decked out farmhouse studio outside of London with a big array of rock instruments set up and various keyboards to choose from. At one point, they started to play a part of Sound Chaser, which impressed me greatly. Then they stopped, and John said, Patrick, what would you come up with as an introduction to this song? I went to the Rhodes electric piano, which was facing the band, and came up with my own instant composition, which was also being recorded in real time by Eddie Offord. They loved it, and it became the introduction for Sound Chaser. It was also an extraordinary event that my first recording with Yes just happened to be on the day of my audition. This was to change my musical career forever. So yeah, happy 50th to Patrick's audition with Yes. And in November, Dad and I will be doing our Relayer review for that album's 50th anniversary. I mean, what can I say? Like, it's monumental. It's a huge favorite among Yes fandom. So yeah, looking forward to talking about that. I don't remember if I mentioned this previously, but there were pictures, or maybe a couple pictures, or one picture of Vangelis from supposedly his Yes audition, prior to Patrick coming in. That was posted around on Facebook by someone anonymously, so I don't know if we're allowed to show that here, but yeah, it was a surprise find for some people. It's really cool to see bits of history like that. All right. So another thing that happened recently, I think this was announced yesterday, and now both of these are sold out. But there was a let me get the wording real quick. But basically, Sony Music Japan re-released Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, How, and Union. So this is what the press release said. Sony Music Japan will release Japan-manufactured analog versions of 2 albums, namely Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, How, and Union. I'm paraphrasing there just so it's quicker. On September 4th, 2024. Both titles will be released as 2 LP configurations with enhanced audio quality compared to the original single LP releases. The most recently remastered audio from 2019 is used, and the price is 6,600 yen per title, including a 10% consumption tax. And just as an aside, in American dollars, I think that's a little more than $40. I looked earlier. This is the first time for Sony Music Japan to release domestically manufactured analog titles. ABWH is the only album for the 4 members from the golden days of Yes that generated Fragile and Close to the Edge, namely John Anderson, Bill Bruford, Rick Wakeman, and Steve Howe. The product recreates the original European release with the title set on a black background as closely as possible, along with the inner sleeve available on red color vinyl, and features 3 bonus tracks. Cover art by Roger Dean, European style gatefold, obi strip. And then for Union, it says released in 1991, is the only product by the band as an 8-piece, a combination of ABWH and the Yes that consisted of its co-founder Chris Squire and Alan White, Tony Kaye, and Trevor Rabin. The product recreates the original European release with the title set on a black background as closely as possible, along with the inner sleeve. Due to capacity, the original LP release used to include 13 songs, whereas the CD included Angkor Wat as well, and made the album 14 songs. But this time, thanks to the 2 LP format, the number of songs will be 14, which is the same as its CD version. Available on blue color vinyl and features 4 bonus tracks. Cover art by Roger Dean, European style gatefold sleeve, and obi strip. And I'll go ahead and share the pictures of that real quick. Let's see. And there was a question of what exactly are the bonus tracks, and I saw a couple comments about that, but let me just get this open real quick. So gotta share the window. So I'll be showing the ABWH re-release first. Let's see, share screen. Okay, here it is. Yeah, that looks really nice. And again, like, both of these are sold out. So, well, according to the the site that I looked at. Yeah, that would be CD Japan. That's the website. But yeah, it looks very nice, and I'm glad that these got homes. Let me see if I can get to the Union one. Let's see, is the Union one displaying right now? Okay, I think I have to unshare and then share the Union one. Let's see. Yeah, and I'll talk about what I've heard other people say about the bonus tracks real quick. But yeah, there we go. There's the Union one. Arista Records. Like, again, that's the label that both of these were released on. So I saw in the comments, Henry Potts was asking what the bonus tracks are, and someone responded using. Okay, see, Mark Jacobson used Google Translate. So for ABWH, it looks like it includes Birthright live version, and Vultures in the City, and I'm Alive remix single version. So those are the ABWH bonus tracks. And Brian Neeson says that Give and Take and Lift Me Up Radio Edit with acapella opening are included as bonus tracks. So I'm not sure, because it says in the post that Union has 4 bonus tracks. So I'm a bit confused about what the other couple are, but maybe that's something that'll come out in the near future. People will figure it out. But yeah, it's quite interesting how we've gotten this and the recent Relayer re-release, and of course, they've also been going through albums like the Yes album, Fragile. I expect Close to the Edge might be next, and of course, Talk 30th anniversary. Like, at this point, it feels like we have to pick and choose what exactly we each want to get. So, like, I like that the catalog, the Yes catalog, is still getting focus and releases and whatnot. But I feel like with all these releases, I really have to be selective about what I want to get. Like, I pre-ordered the Rick Wakeman Yes Sonata record, which comes out in October. I'm really excited about that. As lots of great stuff going on. Now this next one, let's get to this Bill Bruford news. Let me try to screen share the poster with the info on that. Let's see. I got it here, and just need to screen share that window. Okay. All right, there we go. Let me take off the player so it's a bit clearer. Okay. So 3rd International Moon June Festival in the Court of the Harvest Moon. Let's see. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out the best way to read this. So this is the 19th to 22nd of September 2024, and people can go to moonjunefest.com. And this is going to be in Toledo, Spain, at the Guatemala. I don't know what the best pronunciation of that is. And yeah, so special event with Dr. Bill Bruford, drums and music icon from King Crimson, Yes, UK, Bruford Earthworks. Tickets, mutic.com, and that's spelled mutic.com/GUADAMUR. So this particular event is on September 20th. Okay. Roundtable with Dr. Bill Bruford, David Cross, Marcus Reuter, Sid Smith, and September 21st is the book, CDs, and LPs signing. September 22nd, in the court of the percussion king, Dr. Bill Bruford, the man, the myth, the legend, moderated by Sid Smith. And at the bottom of this poster, it says, Performances by David Cross Band, who will be playing King Crimson 72-74. Nick Barsh, Gary Husband, and Ewan Lee. Luca Calabresi with Marcus Reuter and Alex Dowerk. The Wrong Object, Quartet Diminished, Boris Savioli, Savidelli, or I think One Man Orchestra, Biledo and his friend and his band. Biledo and his friends band. There we go. Anton Roulart, Anthony Garone, and Susan Kleins. So that's sure to be a really fun event right there. I like that Bill is doing these things, and of course, his YouTube channel with all its updates and stuff, all the uploads. Recently, he talked about how it had been a year since the John Wetton tribute concert at Trading Boundaries, and it's like, wow, time really does fly. So this next bit of news, just going through Rick Wakeman's ramblings, which you can find at rwcc.com. Just looking at a couple things that are here. So there, he says there's still a lot of preparation to sort out for both the USA final one-man show tour and also the Yuletide tour with Adam and Molly, and I'm working on some final one-man shows for Italy, Hungary, and the Czech Republic, as well as some other possibilities. As regards TV and radio, I had a wonderful day recording a Radio 3 program with Jules Holland. No date for transmission set yet, but it was so enjoyable to do, and I reckon will make good listening. It's part of a series that I think is perfect for radio. And again, this was posted on August 17th, I believe. Let me see. I'm just scrolling down a bit more. Okay, a few upcoming events to be aware of. Well, I need to be aware of them anyway. Wednesday, 11th of September, at a concert at the Shanklin Theater on the Isle of Wight, which also means I can visit friends of the animals. Let's see. 19th, 20th, and 21st, I have piano concerts in Italy. More details in the September ramblings. Many irons in the fire, and hoping the most of them will come to fruition, but I will know for sure before I leave for America on October 1st. Finally, I have to say how wonderful it was to perform Journey at the Crop Ready Festival. I know I'm biased, but the band were magnificent. Who'd have ever thought a couple of years ago that I'd have 4 girl singers on stage and also talented? More praise for son Adam, who saved my musical life on stage on many occasions. Dave Calhoun, as brilliant as ever. Adam Faulkner, what a talent, and Matt Pegg stepped in on bass as if he had always been there. There are loads of photos taken of the band both on and off stage, but as seems to be the norm, I never get to see any of them. Cheers, Rick. Yeah, so and I looked at the tour dates, and I don't see anything near me. I saw there's like a Phoenix show, but that's sold out, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to catch Rick on these one-man show tour unless there's some future like that's more West Coast centric. It looks like Phoenix is the furthest west that he was going, at least when I looked at it. But yeah, again, I'm really looking forward to that Yes Sonata release. And while we're talking about Wakeman's, I think I may have forgotten to mention this previously. So Oliver Wakeman posted highlights from the Mile of Roses concert. And so this is on his YouTube channel. It's about 10 minutes or so and includes some nice snippets. So you got Glimmer of Light and The View from Here, and then Elizabethan Pirates, Roots, Heart Song, Morning as Broken, Nursery Rhyme Concerto, and Sweet Georgia Brown. And again, this concert featured Oliver, Rick, and Oliver's son Arthur, Carrie Martin as well, and Gordon Giltrap. So it was a really cool concert, really fun watch. So yeah, if you have 10 minutes to spare, like you can find that on Oliver Wakeman's YouTube channel. I also saw that Trevor Horn's YouTube channel shared the performance of Owner of a Lonely Heart from when his band, performing as the Buggles backing up Seal, performed in Las Vegas, around Trevor Horn's birthday. I think on his birthday, actually, he posted the full concert. But yeah, that bit where it's Owner of a Lonely Heart from that concert got posted on there within the last couple of days. It's really well shot. Okay, so like I mentioned, August 16th was when Total Mass Retain, one of the Yes tribute bands, did their Alan White tribute concert at the Royal Room in Seattle. And this was streamed live onto the Royal Room Facebook page. And it was a really cool set. Some of it was similar to the set that they, the one that they streamed through Stage It, I think earlier in the summer, but there were a couple like more Alan White specific things, and they might have moved things around. I'd have to look back to compare, but so this began with Firebird Suite, but I think the stream began with Parallels. Yeah, because I remember coming in and it was like a little bit into Parallels. So the way that I watched this stream was not very ideal for me because my flight from Phoenix to Los Angeles was it was happening around the time that this stream was happening. And, I, didn't want to like try streaming it on the plane because, so once I got off the plane, after landing and after getting my luggage and after getting, on the road, I was being driven home and I was basically watching it on my phone, and my earbuds, they're like these Bluetooth earbuds, they were running out of battery. So at one point I had to like hold the phone to my ear, and I'm like, because I left my earbud charger in my bag, which I'd put in the trunk. And so it was like, man, this is not ideal, but from what I can hear, they're really playing it well. And so getting home and also having to like have it on my phone while walking my dog, like my dog Elias, he like really missed me. So it was really great seeing him again and walking him. But I eventually got on my laptop to watch the rest of it. But yeah, Parallels and then Wondrous Stories. So you got a couple going for the one cuts there. And then they played Instant Karma. So there's a bit more of a nod to Alan White and the stuff he was involved with outside of Yes. And then they played Changes. And then they did this thing where it was kind of like a medley. So, they mentioned, even though Alan didn't play on Fragile, some of the stuff here that he did live, is very, because Alan would sort of make certain things a bit of his own. And so it was quite fascinating that for this little medley thing, they began with 5% for Nothing, and that segued into Long Distance Runaround, and of course segueing into Whitefish, which included bits of Tempest Fugit and On the Silent Wings of Freedom, as we're used to with Whitefish. But then there were a few little things as well, which I think they also did at that other concert they streamed earlier this summer. There's a little bit of that is, the day by day, that little drum beat, and it lasting maybe 10 seconds, that little bit. And then a bit of Hold On where, it's that beginning drum bit and saying, on drums, Mr. Alan White, it's so good to be with you tonight. That part of 9012 Live. And then a little bit of Mind Drive, a few seconds, like, and then the second half of Sound Chaser. So, yeah, I thought that was a really cool medley to see again for this. And then, I see another comment from Joey Good News. Saw this live stream, impressed with Johnny Bruns. Yeah, Johnny was great on guitar. He played Clap after that medley, and he told a really heartwarming story about, um, Alan, and Johnny rehearsed with Yes while they were waiting for Steve Howe to show up for the In the Present tour, I believe. Um, and he talked about how Alan was like impressed with his playing, and at one point, they bumped into each other at the NAMM show and said that they should hang out, and just really nice, heartwarming stories. And yeah, so yeah, and Johnny is really great on guitar and playing like the Yes music. So after Clap, they played Ritual, and whenever Ritual is played, it's always an event. And then after Ritual, they did Perpetual Change, and then I've Seen All Good People, Owner of a Lonely Heart, And You and I, which they dedicate. Whenever they play And You and I, they dedicate it to people no longer with us. So it's always nice whenever they do that. And then they played Imagine, which, whenever I hear that, it brings me back to when it was played on the Royal Affair tour, which just so happened to be the final Yes tour that Alan played on. And then they played Starship Trooper because he got close with Starship Trooper. So yeah, that was a really fun live stream. You can still watch it at the Royal Room Facebook page. So yeah, really well done tribute to Alan. They did him proud, and I think they also played at a festival the day after with a different set. Although I don't know what that set might have been. But yeah, I think this. At one point, they said that this was their first show on the West Coast, which was kind of surprising to me with how long they've been around. But that's really cool. So the other concert stream, and after this next bit, I'll talk about the Yes tour and whatnot. But the next concert stream that I saw over the weekend, this is on Sunday, August 18th. Mandoki Soulmates live streamed their concert from Budapest, and the Facebook event, they had us be the co-hosts of the event, and so we were sharing the stream around in different groups. And this lineup featured Leslie Mandoki, Aldi Mayola, Tony Carey of Rainbow, Nick Van Eed of Cutting Crew, Mike Stern, Richard Bona, John Hellawell of Supertramp, Randy Brecker, Till Broner, and Jesse Steinberg of Supertramp. So this was a really well-produced, well-shot concert. It was professionally shot, different angles. Like, you could release this on a Blu-ray or 4K DVD or whatever it's called. Like, it's that great. The sound is incredible. It's very uplifting, the music. So, like, seeing everyone together and playing all this incredible material, which feels very much like a celebration of rock. And they did a great job showcasing some of the people who are part of the lineup. So they began with Stay Loud, which is from the new Mandoki Soulmates album, A Memory of Our Future. Then they played the Logical song by Supertramp, and then I Just Died in Your Arms Tonight by Cutting Room, and then Room with a View by Tony Carey. And then they did Devil's Encyclopedia, which is also from the new album, The Wanderer, The Big Quip, Blood on the Water, I Am Because You Are, Enigma of Reason, Matchbox Racing, A Memory of Our Future. All of those are from the new album. And, they did an incredible job showcasing that new material. And again, it's something that I wish like every band would do like this much, to really showcase the new album like loud and proud. And then there was something, I think with Tony and Al, they were doing like some sort of instrumental duet. I think it was them. Anyone could correct me if I'm wrong. And then they performed Young Rebels, but it was a different arrangement, I think, from a version I've heard before. And then there was a nice Leslie drum solo. And then Al did a very beautiful guitar solo. And then they played Turn the Wind, which is from a previous Mandoki Soulmates album. Then Richard did a bit of singing. It might have been in a different language. I couldn't quite make out what was being sung, but it sounded very beautiful. And then they played Welcome to Real Life, another previous Mandoki Soulmates album song. And then Richard sang again, and they went into You'll Find Me in Your Mirror after that. And then there was an instrumental duet with xylophone and was it trumpet or trombone? I'm not so good at identifying these wind instruments. I just know like people might be like shaking their device hearing me say that perhaps, but it was really cool. And then there was an instrumental, which the name of which escapes me. It goes like dun 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 dun. But then after that, they played The Torch, and then a different song that I think Leslie sang in another language, not English. And then I've Been in Love Before by Cutting Crew was played. And then they played Give a Little Bit by Supertramp. And then the final Mandoki Soulmates song they played was Daydream, which I think was a great one to end with. And then after that, they played Imagine. So yeah, both of the concert streams that I watched over the weekend had Imagine toward the end of the set. So, and it's very fitting. Like Imagine has very much become this, I guess, staple of looking back on rock music and, related genres and stuff like that. And yeah, this was a 3.5 hour concert, and they did it so well. And yeah, so really cool to be able to see and share that around. And check us out at Drum Talk TV Brilliance, the membership site where we've had and will continue having Q&As, and there will be live streamed concerts as well. So yeah, just so I don't forget, because I'm also part of Drum Talk TV, and this live streams on both the Yesshift and Drum Talk TV. So yeah, people go ahead and check out the new membership site, drumtalktvbrilliance.com. So far we've filled out the library with all sorts of things. So yeah, great stuff. All right, so now I'll get into the Yes with Deep Purple tour. So I'm gonna save the set list stuff for last. First off, I'm gonna mention a few posts that I've seen. So they began in Hollywood, Florida. I think that happened the same night that Dad and I saw John in the Band Geeks. So after the show, Dave Kersner, who was there, took a picture with some of the band members. He said, post-show Vader pick with my pals from Yes and bandmates of Arc of Life. Great show. First one of the tour with Yes and Deep Purple. I think Jeff Downs was in the picture as well. And there's also one of Jeff Downs and Tony Kaye in Tampa, Florida. That was the second show. And there was over on the Yes official page, they say there was a heartfelt shout out to Tony Kaye from Steve Howe during the set, where Steve said, "To the astral traveler himself." And let me see if I can share that picture of Downs and Kaye. Yeah, because I was able to grab that from the page. Okay, so present, share screen. Okay, there we go. And I realized I haven't put the player back on, but yeah, that's Tony and Jeff, two Yes keyboardists. It was really cool on the 50th anniversary tour, being able to see Tony play with the guys. Okay, I think this is the one I had up. Yeah, this player. Okay, so I think that was the same show where Alan Hewitt, of the Moody Blues, said, "I had a great hang after the Yes/Deep Purple show last night with a couple of my keyboard mates, Tony Kaye and Jeff Downs from Yes, and of course, Yes lead singer John Davison, who most of you know is a special guest with us on tour with John Lodge. Jay Shellen, drummer for Yes, is next to me, and on the far is Martin Darville, Yes's manager. We all got to be a close-knit music family after the Royal Affair tour in 2020. Make sure to go and see them on this tour with Deep Purple." Yeah, that Royal Affair tour, like I can't like keep I got a lot of great memories of that tour, and it really did feel like everyone was like really connected and stuff. So it's really cool to hear that. They also, one of the other shows they played within their first few shows of this tour was Fort Worth, Texas, and that was a big one. Jay Shellen said, "I'm going to miss our time in Texas. I spent a lot of time there growing up in neighboring New Mexico and in my early touring days. Spectacular shows in Houston and Fort Worth. Thank you, Texas, you rock." And Billy shared this picture of Yes and Deep Purple being added to, I guess, the Dickies Arena. Like this surface has their logos now. So let me just pull that up. It's got their signatures as well. Let's see, share a screen. Okay, I always feel like this show halts to a stop whenever I try screen sharing something. Oh, did it not share? Hang on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so it's got the Yes and Deep Purple logos and their signatures against the wood there. So that's really cool. Looks really nice. All right, so now I think I also saw that someone took a picture with let me double check. Was it Billy who took it? Or, one sec. Okay, yeah. Yeah, Billy said, "It was a true honor to meet Roger Glover. This was at the Fort Worth, Texas show, backstage pre-show." Okay, yeah, so he took a picture with Roger Glover. Yeah, that's cool. So yes, Deep Purple, the tour. So if you don't want to know the set list details, then you can go ahead and tune out. I'll see you next time. Sunday, we're actually doing a Jeff Downs' birthday show. We might be talking about an interesting hypothetical. But yeah, if you follow the page, you'll see what it is. And I think that's at noon, Sunday the 25th, noon Pacific time. But yeah, follow the Yesshift Facebook page and whatnot, and we'll post about the details and such. And whenever we're doing our true album review. So yeah, if you're tuning out right now, see you then. But if you're staying, here's what the Yes set list has been. So this was from, well, I should say that this is from opening night. I'm not sure if there have been any changes, but they began with Firebird Suite, of course, and then Machine Messiah, so, beginning with a real rocker there. And then they did I've Seen All Good People, but it began with this sort of, the opening notes of Sister Sleeping Soul. Steve played a tiny bit of that before they were before doing the opening notes of I've Seen All Good People, and they sang, "I've seen all good people," So I'm glad that I knew about that ahead of time. I saw someone comment about that because I feel like, this tour this leg, I should say, isn't going anywhere near me, but I feel like if I had heard the opening notes of Sister Sleeping Soul, I would have gotten really excited. And then, when they start singing "I've Seen All Good People," I think it would have been a wah wah type moment. I can only imagine how Dad would have reacted. You know, we have this running thing about "I've Seen All Good People" that we bring up now and then. But then they played "Yours Is No Disgrace," and then Steve Howe played "Clap," and then they played "Going for the One" and "Siberian Khatru." So, you know, a couple other rocking songs, and then ended with "Roundabout" and "Starship Trooper." So I get the vibe that some of these selections were made to perhaps fit in well, maybe with the overlap with a Deep Purple audience. And I've seen people say that they were really impressed with Yes at this on this tour. You know, with Deep Purple. Whoa, sorry, I almost hit something. I've seen video clips here and there, but video clips, you know, whether it be for Yes or, you know, YouTube clips, whether it be for Yes or John and any projects he's involved with, I feel like it's very hit and miss depending on like how it's shot, what type of device. So it's really hard to get the full picture that way. But yeah, it does kind of feel like they were trying to make a set that maybe the Deep Purple audience would vibe with, as opposed to, you know, throwing in an epic or something. Um, but yeah, but like I always say, my suggestion for Yes is always to, you know, vary up the set, throw in surprises, showcase newer material from newer albums. You know, wear those albums with pride, you know. So that's my rec, whether it be for a short set or a long set, you know, just figure out a way to make that work, you know. um but yeah, I've heard people say they've been really enjoying the concerts, but I can see how the set list, you know, with its not so many risks and chances, I can see how some might feel like, I'm not so sure about going to this. Um, but I think for me, like if this were coming my way, I think there'd be an interesting novelty to seeing Yes and Deep Purple back to back. So I'd see the show if it were near me. But yeah, I guess this will have to be a different. It'll have to be a different tour that happens near me, you know, Los Angeles area, whenever that may be. I know they're going to Japan after this leg, and I think that's technically considered part of the Classic Tales of Yes tour. So yeah, those are my thoughts. And wow, I got all this done like quicker than I expected. So thanks for tuning in, everyone. And you can follow Yesshift at Yesshift on Facebook and YouTube, and search Yesshift in podcast apps. You'll probably find us. And you can write to us, yesshiftpodcast@gmail.com. And yeah, like I said, we're doing a Jeff Downs topic episode on Sunday, and then at some point we'll do our true review. I just know that tomorrow there's gonna be so many posts, and I might make a little post of how I'm feeling or how we're feeling, just a little tease of our thoughts on the album without going too in depth, perhaps. But don't quote me on that. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna listen to that as soon as I can. But yeah, great to have all these different music activities going on with all these people, all these bands, all these artists, and it makes for great, numerous things to talk about. So thanks everyone, and have a great one. Uh, so see you all later.